Father Simon and the Hierophants of Exculpation.
Oh my gosh.
It's a different one. This one comes from Dave. Thank you, Dave, for this. It's going to require a degree of acting from me, but anyway. Forgive me, for I have sinned. I collect autographs. I've been doing it since I was a boy, and I've got a lot of them from stars of stage, screen, the music, and sporting worlds, both living and dead. I always carry an autograph book with me, and as you never know when you're going to bump into someone famous whose moniker you'd like, I'm always ready and I'm always prepared. My job as a contractor has taken me around the world and given me many opportunities to fill more and more pages in my little blue books. On this particular occasion, in the mid-noughties, I'd been in London for a few weeks, and my wife was very cold and brusque with me on the phone when I spoke to her. I was obviously due to really spoil her with a massive show of attention, so I paid for her to come down to London, booked a very expensive hotel for several days, a theatre show, several meals out in posh restaurants, that kind of thing. And it was in one of these posh restaurants that my confession begins. My wife and I had enjoyed some pre-meal refreshments, always a key phrase. As soon as there's a sniff of alcohol involved, you know that trouble is coming next. During the meal, we were somewhere on the other side of a couple of bottles of wine. At one point, I looked up, and there, sat 2 tables away, was someone whose autograph I didn't have. I kept looking, and my wife eventually said very quietly, and not at all annoyed by the lack of attention to her, "For goodness sake, just go and get it." I stood up, straightened my shirt, took several attempts to retrieve the autograph book from my jacket pocket, and walked over to the table of Sir Ben Kingsley. "Excuse me," I said, "I'm very sorry to bother you, but could I trouble you for your autograph?" "Of course," he said in a rich, deep voice. I don't know if that was rich or deep enough. He took my book and pen. "Who shall I make it out to?" I told him, and he proceeded to start and write something, and then midway looked at me and said, "And what is your favourite piece of work of mine?"
Ooh.
This, Father Mayo, is where things turn bad. I had the biggest brain fade of my life. I looked at him and blinked very, very slowly, leaning on his table. I had no idea. My mind was a Zen-like blank canvas, and then it came to me. "I thought you were great in Thunderbirds." I blurted out. See, I quite like the Thunderbirds.
That's
yes,
very good.
Sir Ben stopped, put my pen down in the crease of the book, and slowly looked up at me. "What?" Sorry, I said. "What did you say?" I was starting to feel a little uncomfortable, but repeated, "I thought you were great in Thunderbirds. You were really good." Sir Ben very slowly started to rise out of his chair, and rising up to within an inch of my face, he said slowly and very deliberately, "Say my name." What?" I was now rather intimidated and confused. "Say my name," he said as he loomed over me, staring deep into my eyes. He was obviously rather vexed. "I'm sorry," I said. "Say my name!" he boomed. "Say it! Say my name! Say my name! Say my name! Say my name!" Ben Kingsley? "No, no, no!" "No? No!" he roared. I managed to break away, and I ran for it, quickly snatching my autograph book as I made my escape. My wife was already standing with my jacket. Everyone was looking at us. As I got to the front desk, we paid hastily. We left very quickly. Sir Ben was still raging to his dining companion and the dining room in general as we got back in the taxi and went to our hotel. So, Father Mayo, I seek forgiveness, firstly from my wife, whose special dinner I ruined with another stupid autograph. I also seek forgiveness from the other diners, whose special meals were ruined through my actions and drunken stupidity, and to the maitre d', who I left trying to calm down a very angry night. I also seek forgiveness from Sir Ben Kingsley, whose fine body of work I totally forgot when placed on the spot, only managing to remember that terrible Thunderbirds film. I quite liked it. And then Dave concludes like this. But mainly I would like to seek forgiveness from Sir Patrick Stewart, who was the person who actually signed my autograph book that evening, and who wasn't, in fact, Sir Ben Kingsley at all. Sir Patrick is a fine writer, a fine actor, but on that occasion, I'm afraid I found him rather angry and rather loud. You can imagine why. Anyway, with apologies to Sir Patrick and to Sir Ben, it's Dave's tale. Okay, so, Joe, here we go. I don't know what what mood this one's going to find you in. What do you think?
No, just thoroughly entertained. I thought that was completely brilliant. I love Patrick Stewart. I did think it was... he sounded very much like Ben Kingsley in Sexy Beast when he was utterly terrifying. So
That's
I thought maybe he was going to, morph into that role. But I just, completely and utterly forgiven. For the entertainment of giving us that story.
Until I got to the last paragraph, I thought, well, we're not going to be able to read this one out because obviously, Sir Ben sounds as though he's just a little bit unnecessarily cross. And then, of course, it turns out it isn't Sir Ben at all. It is Sir Patrick. Sister Bobby there.
Well, a mistaken identity between two famous people. Usually it's someone that you mistake as famous and they're not. It's somebody just every day and you get that wrong. So I've done that all the time. I'm caught here because you disturbed him during his dinner and he was quietly eating and he was very generous and said, yes, of course. So at the very least you could have done is got the right person. So in some ways I appreciate his anger because you didn't even know who he was and he disturbed his dinner. So I think, Dave, although I do feel for you, but also it was meant to be your wife's special dinner. So I'm going to be really hard on you and go, no, you are not forgiven.